Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to humanize Blackboard Collaborate. So when I say humanize, I mean how to express yourself without being able to be in the classroom, or perhaps you're a little bit shy or don't have a webcam. This might be a better way of how to express yourself and let me as a professor or your own professor know how you feel in class, how you're taking to the lecture and the information, or if you have a question. So these are just some tips to make Blackboard Collaborate feel more like you're in the real classroom. So first thing I'll show you down here is, of course, your name. When you click on your little profile, you might have that little icon of a little person. Maybe you haven't added a photo yet. That's one thing you could do. I'll show you how to do it in a second. But what you can do while your professor is speaking or someone else is talking, you can hit them with one of these little buttons here. So happy, surprise, faster, slower. So in case you're confused, you can hit the confused button and it'll alert the professor to say that this student is confused. So in the chat box and the little roster here, it'll show, okay, the student sample is confused. Let's say they clarify that. The professor's, oh, okay, no problem, I'll clarify that. Then you can put surprised. You can put happy, if you really like the class or you're enjoying it. You can give feedback that way. If the professor just asks you a basic question, what do y'all think about this? Do you think that's fair? Or do you think that's a good way to spend X, Y, and Z? You can hit agree, and you can just do a really quick yes, no. You don't have to type anything, just hit yes or no. Your professor might even prompt you. Choose yes or no, agree or disagree in the little icon box there. And you can also clear it away there as well. If for whatever reason you need to go away, you can also hit away and it says you're away, and it'll tell the professor that you're back as well. So let them know that you're back in and you can answer the question that they asked you. You can also click on my settings in that same one, and you can go to the top here and you can add a photo. So by clicking upload, you can upload a photo of yourself or an avatar, something that you want to represent you, to show who you are to the professor and the rest of the class. That's also a fun way to humanize it, so I know who I'm speaking to, or at least the professor knows who you're speaking to or what kind of humor you have. So that could be added there as well. You could also take a photo from your webcam if you feel brave enough to do that. So that's another way you can add a photo, like I did for my own profile where it says Dr. Jose Sebastian Ternus. You see that I've added a very professional academic photo because I'm the professor, right? If I was a student, I could add something that's a little more fun. So that's one way. You can use the icon button here, add a little photo, use the different feedback buttons to let the speaker or the professor know how you're feeling. The other thing you could do is, of course, when you're in the chat. Obviously, most of us know when it says up here at the very top, it says everyone. So that means you're speaking to everyone in the classroom. If you want to pose a question, right, you're going to pose it, you can send it, and it'll show up as your name. And of course, your little icon will pop up and you can send that. Now, another thing you could do is, of course, you have emojis down here, which I'm sure most folks like to use. So once again, you can expand how you're feeling or what you say, or if it's humorous, right, you can add a couple of emojis there in order to help people understand whatever you're trying to say or whatever kind of message you're putting across, right? So for instance, if you did something like this, I'd understand you're trying to be, somewhat funny. You're trying to see if anyone else thinks it's funny. If you just put funny, right, I might not understand it because I read it a certain way. But if you put an emoji, it helps me out a bunch. So you could do that. If you want to do a double combo, I guess you could also put surprised, right? You could put surprised and do all that if you really wanted to get the point across to me or your classmates as well. So that's another thing you can do. If for whatever reason you need to just ask me a question privately, like a DM or a PM, you can do that here as well. So if you click on the little icon of the people, you'll see who's in the chat. Of course, the students will be in participants. The moderator is the professor. You can choose me. You can right click on this little ... and it'll say send a chat message. So you can send me a specific message in case you want to ask me a question that you don't want to ask in front of everybody, or maybe your partner isn't helping you out. Maybe they're not there helping you or responding. You might want to send me a message and say, hey, can you help me out because my partner's not there or they're not responding. You can send me a private message. So that private message, you can also do it when you go into the chat bubble. You can go where it says everyone, click on this previous panel, and you'll also see me. So you can send me a message directly. So when you send that message directly, it'll only go to me, only I'll be able to see it. And let's say I see you have a question you didn't want to ask in front of everybody. I'll just say, hey, hypothetically, what if you guys were thinking X, Y, and Z? So I could know that you have a question without telling the whole class you have a question, right? So if you're apprehensive about sharing your questions or don't want to ask in front of everybody, that's okay too. I won't, out you that way. So that's another way you can do it. So there's all kinds of different ways. And of course, if you really want to mess around with the chat box as well, you have more options beyond emojis. You can, of course, use bold writing. You can use italics. You can use underlining in case you want to emphasize something for your friends or the students or your professor to understand. You can also do that. So I hope this little tutorial helps you understand how to humanize Blackboard Collaborate a little bit better. It is hard to teach and learn when we're remote, but I think there's certain steps we can take in order to help us make it more human. And I hope that this helps you do that, because it definitely enriches the way that I communicate with you and understand what you want from the class, but also it helps the other way around too. Your students and your peers understand you better too. So I hope this makes Blackboard Collaborate a little more human, and I hope you can insert it and do it inside of your class as well too, to make other people feel like it's the regular classroom too. So hope that helps. I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy.